Yeah, and that brings me back to climbing Westkill, bushwhacking Westkill before there was a trail,
Oh, wow.
and I went solo in the winter in knee deep snow, and
Wow.
and pulled it off. Pulled it off. Post holing with jeans on and probably a sweatshirt, a hooded sweatshirt, and just basic gear you'd walk around in a village in. And all by myself on Westkill. Nobody knew where the hell I was. And again, at that time, I was invincible.
Yep.
I was invincible, and I survived. And a lot of it is luck. Luck. Because again, post-holing in knee-deep snow.
The bushwhacks were some of the worst days I've ever had in the mountains, or life, really.
I think the weather challenges on this incident were particularly difficult.
Whereas Panson Mountain is totally opposite. It's a mountain on top of a crater.
It was really the development of New York State. Catskills were responsible.
Yeah.
Welcome to Inside the Line, the Catskills. All right, so we're recording. So, Ralph, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So I know you're living down in Maryland, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over 3 years now.
Okay. So I just read this article the other day. My friend sent it to me. He's a fellow SAR team member. In 2021, a hunter shot what he thought was a coyote 40 miles west of Albany. So that's probably like very close to like Catskill and stuff. Mm-hmm. Just recently, they did the DNA testing and they found out it was actually a wolf. So near Cooperstown, actually, it's right near where I live. Wow, that's pretty scary.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I didn't, wolves really never travel here. They never go below the tundra of Canada and across, I'm guessing parts of Michigan and stuff like that. But, recently it was just DNA was tested by the DEC and it was a male wolf. Wow.
Whoa. And we have a deep-seated fear of them and they get a lot of bad press.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you guys, what's your predators down there in Maryland as of right now? Are you closer to the coast or are you more inland?
We are very close to the Atlantic Ocean. We're 10 feet above sea level.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I lived in New York, we were 1,000 feet above sea level. So now we're 10 feet. Different world. Different world. Yeah. And as far as predators, every once in a while we see a fox, but I don't consider them predators. And I think allegedly there are black bears around, and people talk about copperheads. Oh. But in our experience, we haven't had any problems with predators.
Wow, copperheads! I didn't know they were down there.
Yeah, I didn't either. And again, we've done a lot of walking down here. We've done a lot of exploring, and we're both hikers, Kathy and I. And we go out, and usually we don't see anybody else. This is golfing, power boating type of an area. So we're kind of out in left field with we're hikers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Strangers in a strange land. Yeah.
Definitely. Do you guys have to travel far to like inland to hike? I mean, how far is the Appalachian? You say you hike the Appalachian Trail. Is that far from you?
Yeah. On Stormville Mountain, our back property line was National Park Service, the Appalachian Trail corridor. So I was 400 steps from the AT. And now I'm about 250 miles away from my beloved AT. It's Front Royal, Virginia.
Front Royal. That's a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
We went there a couple of years ago and did a lot of the AT along the Shenandoahs. It was fantastic. What a beautiful place.
Yeah, I got to revisit Big Meadows, and we stayed overnight there, and we got to walk on a sector of the AT that I had walked back in the day, and experience my first trail angels. I saw the exact picnic bench where they were sitting.
No way.
Yeah. Again, a blast in the past. That was 25 plus 22, 47 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Half a century. That's the way I put it. I looked it up. I became a 3,500 Club member on April 1st, 1972. So this year in April was my 50th anniversary of becoming number 311 is my 18 number, number 122.
Wow.
Numbers to be proud of.
Definitely. Yeah. Everyone, welcome to the show. I think this is episode 49. With me today is Ralph Ferrusi. Is that how you say it, sir?
Yeah, Ferrusi. Yeah.
Ferrusi, number 122 of the Catskill 3,500 Club. So back in the days, 60s, 70s, 80s, we're going to talk about good times back in the days, the differences. You know, I'm very curious. I have a bunch of friends who are older than me, have hiked longer than me, and I have so many questions of how the hell they hiked back in those days.
Oh, fire away. Yeah, fire away.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So welcome to the show, Ralph. Really appreciate joining me. Thank you to the monthly subscribers, Darren White, Vicky Ferreira, John Comiskey, Alec Betancourt, Sarah Bacon, Jim Caraba, Michael Bogner, and David Mead. Thank you very much for supporting the show. This is a little different, Ralph, than usually I ask, because it's 7:00 at night, everybody's winding down and they have something to drink, like a cocktail or something. So this is 10 a.m. in the morning. I got some water right here and some coffee right here. What else do you got, buddy?
And I've been up for 4 hours now.
Same, actually. Yeah. I woke up. We had to wake up early, so good call. Yeah, I've got some water here. So I don't think Ralph has any cocktail going on right now.
No.
If it is, it's what do they call those things in the morning? The orange juice. The drinks in the orange juice. I forgot what they call those. Mimosas.
Vitamin C.
Yeah. Ralph, have you done any previous hikes in the past couple of weeks that you want to talk about?
Yeah. We live close to Assateague National Seashore, and we have discovered there's quite a few trails down there, and we have discovered a trail that takes us out to the bay, where there's a couple of fishermen's, whatever you call them, and anyway, what I'm getting at, my wife has what I call mucklucks, the big rubber boots. And she got me a pair, and we were out, just for example, we were out there one day with our mucklucks on, and we had to cross maybe 20 feet of shallow water out in these marshes, these vast marshes. And we ended up in places where there were no other human beings around, and no other human beings had probably been in a long, long time. And that is, what a feeling. I'm getting goosebumps thinking of it.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So we go out to Assateague. It's about a half hour away. And we've actually discovered a lot of good hiking down here. And what we do is, get me going, we hike from October to March, when, pardon my French, the damn bugs are gone and you can actually breathe outside. You can breathe outside. And there's a place, there's a 10,000 acre nature conservancy property south of here by Snow Hill. And it's along the Nassawango Creek. And there's a Nassawango Goat hiking trail that we get a 2-hour round trip, bang for the buck. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's, and there's also, get me going, there's also a long distance hiking trail in this county, Worcester County, 23 miles long. And what we did is we did it all in out and backs, one car, out and back, out and back, out and back. So we walked 46 miles. And Cass said, let's do it again. So we have walked 92 miles down there on the Algonquin Trail. Yeah.
Nice.
And in all that time, I think we saw 3 other people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And when we're out there, lots of beautiful pine forests, and it's pretty much dead flat, which is kind of a good thing. And but ain't nobody out there. Ain't nobody out there except Kath and I, and nature in the woods.
Nice. That's the way you want it, right?
Yeah, we've dug out these places, and
So the Assateague, is that how you say it? How do you say it? Assateague?
Assateague.
Assateague. So is that the place where you can spot the wild horses? Have you ever seen them down there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've actually, when we were out on that fisherman's trail, there were 3 or 4 horses. And what I just read, that horses are a prey animal. Predators prey on them. So they're very, very wary. So what in my bike riding out at Assateague and my hiking, what you do is don't spook them. And there's big warning signs. The horses bite, kick, don't go near them. Don't try to sit on them. Don't take pictures. And, but I bike right by them. And again, you just let them know you're there. And actually what I'm getting around to, we're out on the fisherman's trail, and Kath made a video of 2 horses actually laying down on their backs and scratching their backs in the sand.
Nice.
And it's Kath and I and maybe 4 Assateague ponies right out there. Nobody else. Nobody else existed. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we were this previous week we were supposed to, Jessica, my wife, and I were supposed to be down in Ocean City, actually. Well, we were supposed to be down there right now. And that, my dog had some
God, yeah.
sickness. Yeah. So we canceled it. We decided to stay up here, and we kind of thought we thought we made a good decision, because the weather down there, we were hoping for like 80s and stuff, and it hasn't been like that.
Yeah. We've had 48 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you come down here, get out to Assateague.
Yeah.
Get out there. We don't go to Ocean City at all. I mean, it's all those turistos. We're natives now.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. We like to go down there for the beach. Well, not Ocean City. We usually go to Hilton Head Island, and that's a little far of a drive. So.
Okay. Where was that?
Hilton Head Island. It's down in South Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah. It's almost touching. Well, it's right touching the Georgia line of Tybee and Hilton Head. So.
Wow.
Nice little secluded place. The place is it's like they call it like a green island. There's no lights, no city lights. There's no like big, huge businesses. They're all located 15 miles out of there. Everything's mom and pop local. You have certain light ordinances for the sea turtles to thrive out there. So it's the coolest place.
We've been to Smith Island, and we're heading for Tangier Island in the Chesapeake. And Smith Island has a population about 250.
Nice.
And the cars don't need license plates. Yeah.
Wow.
And a great place for walking. And if you ever get out there, stay overnight to really experience, oh my God, what it's like to be in a place like that. Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
If you do come down here, pop in. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean,
yeah.
we have each other's emails, so now we can stay in contact. Definitely love to come over.
Oh, we have a guest room, and we'd be glad to have you and talk the talk. Because again, Kath and I are again both avid outdoors people, hikers, bikers, canoers. Yeah.
Oh my God. And how old are you? If you don't mind me asking, sorry to ask that.
Yeah. Okay. I am on September 12th, I turned 85. I was born in 1937. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Between here and here, I'm 37.
Well, with the stuff you've been sending me in the emails, you said in one of his emails, listen to this, people, 85 years old. How many miles have you biked since you said April, right?
Yeah, mid-April, I biked 1,521 miles since mid-April. Yeah,
I don't think I've driven that much.
Well, that's about the distance from here to beyond Salina, Kansas.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
But again, fitness is important to me.
Well, yeah, it's very important to your life and to keep you healthy and to keep you going. And at 85 years old, if you're doing all that stuff, that's insane. That's awesome. That just puts a big smile on my face. Hopefully everybody else is just like, holy crap.
Let me tie this into the Catskills. Way back, my first father-in-law, Rene Bior, he was a physical director at New York City YMCA, And he went hiking with us in the Catskills. He was extremely fit. He was a runner before the runners became all over the place. And we hiked in the Catskills, and I had my shirt off, and he took a photo of me, a picture of me. And I had this big white inner tube around my midsection. And I said, never again will I look like that. And that was a life changer. That was a life changer. I've been fit, crazy fit ever since.
Wow.
Yeah. I watch what I eat, longtime vegetarian. Yeah. And right now I wear the same size jeans I wore in high school, and I weigh like 156 pounds.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
Catskills changed that.
I'm going to go jump out the window right now. Jesus. Awesome. Awesome. Axel, I went, like last week, I went on the part of the escarpment. I did, Scout Road to Inspiration Point, and beautiful day, beautiful, phenomenal day out there. Leaves weren't changing last week. But this week I went, yesterday I went to Acra Point over by Burnt Knob and Blackhead Mountain. And they're starting to change up here. They're starting to get brown and yellow and see some red here and there. So if you want to come up and check it out, usually this is in a week, it's the time.
Wow. We yeah. What I have to try not to say is down here. We're south of the Mason-Dixon line. Yeah. And so I try not to use that expression down here, but it's a different world. It's a lot of lolly pines and a lot of sand and yeah.
I'd say down there, you're 10 feet above sea level, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's down there. That's down there.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Those hikes were phenomenal. Beautiful day. We met a couple people. We met one guy who was I have to say pretty strange. His boots were a little torn up, and he had it looked like at least 6 to 7 layers of duct tape on them in every way possible. So it was definitely a weird encounter. His dog, actually, we were eating, and his dog appeared behind my friend, like out of nowhere. And so like it startled him, but luckily enough, he didn't react that bad. So he's like, "Hey guy." And like, I would have jumped because I would have thought it was like a coyote trying to eat something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was, just roaming around, and we were just like, is this guy a stray? He's got a collar on, but this guy appeared on the other side, looked like I wouldn't say a homeless man, but a guy that's been out in the trail for a while, nothing to do with like the AT or anything. So it's a little sketchy, but he got closer. We looked at his shoes, and we're like, wow, those shoes are layered up like Popeye's shoes. They had a lot of, it was definitely a weird time, but sitting at Inspiration Point and Sunset Point, looking at that view of Catskill High Peak and the Clove is absolutely phenomenal.
We call it Catskill High Peak.
Catskill? Does she like that?
Catskill, and that's where she finished her 3,500. And there's hurricane ledges.
Yep.
Yeah, I have some great photos of my son and I on hurricane ledges and yeah. And we've done Acra Knob because we got caught up with the 67ers for a while. What's the guy's name who wrote the book about the 67ers?
Alan Villa?
Yeah. Yep. And what happened is we after a point, we realized we were climbing up a lot of big piles of dirt through a lot of brambles through a place with no view, and sometimes had to walk across private property and where we weren't welcome, and so we stopped. Yeah.
I kind of lose interest with going through those brambleberries and all the prickers and stuff. It's horrible stuff.
Yeah. It wasn't like you're up there for the view and ain't none. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a view kind of guy. I need something to go up there. That's why I like a lot. I love the bushwhacks. I love Big Indian. I love fur. I love those. But there's got to be something up there, and the canister's up there. So that's another reason why to do it, because you get to sign in the canister. It's a really cool experience. But going up there and through prickers and stuff, and just to get to it, like you said, a little pile of dirt. Yeah. With maybe a cairn on top marking the summit. No, I'm good.
Oh, get me going about cairns. Yeah. There's a guy who wrote an article once bashing cairns. And I wrote an article in the Peaks magazine bashing the guy because, in my opinion, if somebody builds a cairn, you don't touch it.
Mhm.
It's an unwritten rule, like touching somebody else's gear in a lean-to. It's unwritten. You do not touch it.
Mhm.
And this guy, think about walking across the presidential range without cairns.
Yeah. Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot more dead people up there. If this pardon my French, jackass was up there tearing down the cairns.
True.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Well, no. That's a great. I mean, to be honest, I'm one of the ones that I knock down the cairns that aren't used as navigational purposes. Like
Mhm.
anything up in the Adirondacks, in the Whites, in Vermont, above tree line, or on like the tall ones on bushwhacks. No way. That's everybody should have the general knowledge that when you're above tree line, those cairns serve a huge purpose, massive, huge purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, correct. I agree with you on that one. Definitely. So once again, we're gonna go on to news. I already told about the wolf near me. That was pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure there's still volunteer opportunities. Have we gotten past Labor Day yet? I have no clue when Labor Day is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
My birthday
so-
was the week after Labor Day. So,
Okay, so I think volunteering you can still volunteer for the Catskills Trail Crew, New Jersey Trail Conference, any volunteer opportunity, Catskill Mountainkeeper, Catskills Visitor Center. I have all the links at the show notes. So check that out. We need them anywhere and everywhere possible. Just volunteer 2 times a year. That'll be helpful for everybody in the Catskills and in the hiking trails. So, usually Ralph, I do a little Catskill history, but tonight we're going over some Catskill history. And usually I do something, on maybe old settlers back in the days. I've done stuff on fishing back in the days, the Catskill hotels and stuff like that, the Borscht Belt. So I didn't have anything written up. So we're going to talk about Catskill history. So welcome the guest of the night, Ralph Ferrusi, 3,500 finisher number 122.
Let's go.
and 34W.
And 34W, 34 winter. That's incredible. And then we'll go over later. Also, you finished the AT number 311 on the AT.
311.
Insane. And you're number like 2,000 in the Adirondacks, right?
2023.
2023. What's it? Well, you know what? We'll get into that a little bit later. I just find it insane that your number what was it again? 122 on the 3,500 club, but 2,000 in the Adirondacks. That shows you how much people focus on the Adirondacks more than the Catskills.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Ralph, so how about a little background about yourself? Where you lived, what got you into hiking, stuff like that, what you do now, and just a little background.
Good question. Okay, I worked for IBM for about 400 years, and I worked in a cubicle about 10 by 10 in a building the size of Rhode Island. The nearest window was about a half a mile away, and I loved the outdoors. And here I was in this cubicle, and there was an IBMer, Ray Orton. I was an electronics technician. He was a fellow technician, and one day he said, "Ralph, how'd you like to go for a hike?" And I said, "A hike?" He said, "Yeah, walk in the woods." Why does that sound so very familiar? And we walked up Breakneck Ridge in the Hudson Valley. And we went all the way back and back and back to the highest point. And that was a life changer. Again, this one man, Ray Orton. And then my IBM manager was Howie Roth, and he was an outdoors guy. And he said, "How'd you like to go for a walk in the Catskills?" Okay. And so we went from Woodland Valley over, Wittenberg, Cornell, and Slide, and back.
Wow.
And back. And so here I was. I went from the 1,000-footers in the Hudson Valley to 3,500 to a 4,000-footer. And then he said, "Oh, there's a club called the 3,500 Club, and if you climb all the peaks, you become a member of the 3,500 Club." And honestly, before that, I was like a ball in a, not a pool table. What do you call it? Yeah.
Pinball machine?
Pinball machine. That's how I lived. I just got swatted around, boom, boom, boom. And that's how I lived. After I became, the 3,500 Club was the first goal I ever had. And I honestly busted my ass to achieve it. And that has changed. That was a life changer, achieving that goal. And my son has done it. My wife have had, they're both 3,500 and winner 3,500. And okay, I've bicycled since mid-April. I bicycled 1,500 and some miles. A goal. So right now, I'm still going after those goals, and I think it's a good thing. I think,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, rather than bumbling through life.
Exactly.
Thanks to the Catskills.
Yeah. Where did you first where did you live back when you were born and stuff? Were you a New Yorker, Rhode Islander, or?
Good question. And just like the people out on Smith Island, just about every one of the 250 people out there was born and raised on Smith Island. And I was born and raised in New York.
Excellent.
I call it New York in Westchester County, right on in Buchanan, right next to the Hudson River. So
Nice.
The Hudson River has always been, and the Hudson Highlands have always been part of my life.
Nice.
High tide, low tide, da.
And what age did you first start the 3,500 again?
Probably in my 30s. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Same here.
Which was a half a century ago.
Exactly. That's what's so cool about it. I just love it. So, 5 years into the 3,500 Club, you were number 122.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? I know it doesn't really matter. When did you start? Was it like a jump and a skip away that you did it, or?
That's a good question. I think I kind of gobbled them up. Yeah.
Nice.
Once I got on a roll, and again, the most astonishing things is I actually walked, hiked, and climbed with numbers 1 and 2, Bill and Eleanor Levin. I actually physically walked with these legends.
Yeah, the legends of the Catskills, the top legends. Wow.
Yeah. It's almost mind-boggling, and I took it for granted. Yeah, and Reverend Ray Donahue.
Donahue.
Somehow we got hooked up. That was before cell phones and the whole 9 yards. And I don't know how I got hooked up with and walked with these guys and Eleanor. Yeah.
Now at the time it was just a random hike that you guys went on, and you were sitting there right next to those two.
I do not recall, but I do recall learning the ropes because I had a lot to learn. My hiking gear was a hooded sweatshirt, jeans, and probably some kind of boots. I've always had boots, but again, no Gore-Tex, no this, no that, no the other thing, no lightweight gear. And so I recall reading in my book, which is right here.
What book is that?
Okay.
Catskill Tales and Trails. All right, that'll go in the notes.
2006, I think I wrote it. I recall that I went on club hikes to learn the ropes. Yeah, and I do not remember how I got hooked up with Eleanor, Bill, and Ray Donahue, but I learned the hard way.
What peaks did you climb with them, or what peak? Do you remember?
Oh, baby. Okay. A couple stories. I recall going down Maple Crest Road, right, and up on the col between Black Head and Black Dome with Eleanor, Bill, probably Ray, and we walked up to the col. And listen to this: Eleanor didn't have to bag the peaks. Been there, done that. so she waited in the call and made hot chocolate as
Cool.
Bill Levitt and Ray and I bagged Blackhead and probably Black Dome and probably Thomas Cole. In the meantime, she's sitting down there in the winter making hot chocolate for us.
Wow.
Number 2 was making hot chocolate for me. Yeah, I mean, here's the best story I have about Bill and Ray Donahue. Bill was intense. He was, oh baby, you could almost feel him vibrating, and he wasn't a big guy. And God, I've never hiked with anybody like him. He just, again, wiry, intense, focused. And so one day, me, Bill Levitt, and Ray Donahue are going to do a winter climb of Friday and Balsam Cap on snowshoes. Now, I didn't have any snowshoes at the time, and they gave me a pair of bear paws that weighed about 50 pounds each. They're bear paws. And I didn't have any hiking sticks, no poles or anything. And we're going up, and here's what Levitt and Ray Donahue. And oh my God, they're machines. And I kept stepping on the back of the bear paw because they aren't teardrop shaped, like my beloved red feathers. I love my aluminum red feathers. So going up, I kept falling on my face in the snow. I'm pretty sure we hit both canisters. Of course, these guys probably put the canisters up there. But going down, falling on your face going downhill is much worse. You fall further. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I was practically in tears. And but that's the strongest memory I have of hiking with Bill Levitt, Ray Donahue. And again, miraculous for me. I don't know, a Dudley from somewhere in New York walking with these guys, taking it for granted. Oh, it's Bill Levitt.
Yeah, I know him. And then you're just like, holy crap, that guy is a living legend of the Catskills. Definitely.
Number 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Friday and Balsam Cap in the winter, it's absolutely no joke. It's almost 3,000 feet a gain. It's hate to say it's a bitch.
I have another quick story about good old Friday and Balsam Cap. Let's see, it was Dick Plank, Freddie Sheehan, and I wake up in the Hudson Valley, and it's 30 below zero. 30 below. And we decide to climb Friday in Balsam Cap with sweatshirts and jeans and da-da-da-da-da. And I remember on the summit, I looked at those two guys, and their noses were white. They were white. They were getting frostbitten.
Oh.
And when you touch the canister, you took the glove off. You couldn't get your glove back on because the collar froze. And we did that. And we survived.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go climb Friday in Balsam Cap when it's 30 below zero.
And that's only in the Hudson Valley too. And up at the top of the mountains, it's probably 50 below zero.
Exactly. Again, as they say in France, je ne comprends pas. I do not understand. Pourquoi? Why? Hey,
I say that all the time though when I hike in those kind of conditions. Why the hell am I doing this?
Yeah.
But then the view is absolutely stunning with all the white, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, ain't no bugs, better views. Yeah. I'm a fan.
So now with talking about all this winter hiking and stuff like that back in the 60s, 70s and 80s and even 90s, the difference in gear and apparel is astonishing, is very astonishing. You know, I see pictures of my friends who have hiked back in, the Adirondacks and stuff. They have jeans on, like army boots, wool jackets, and they had their set of hair. They didn't have any winter hats. So the difference is absolutely insane. How the hell did you guys do it? And what you said you hiked with jeans, and what did you use? Did you use anything under? Do you have what did you have under those jeans?
Probably not. maybe some kind of long johns, but yeah, and that brings me back to climbing Westkill, bushwhacking Westkill before there was a trail,
Oh, wow.
and I went solo in the winter in knee-deep snow, and
Wow.
and pulled it off. Pulled it off, post-holing with jeans on and probably a sweatshirt, a hooded sweatshirt, and just basic gear you'd walk around in a village in. And all by myself on Westkill. Nobody knew where the hell I was. And again, at that time, I was invincible.
Yep.
I was invincible, and I survived. And a lot of it is luck. Because again, post-holing in knee-deep snow.
In jeans.
No trail. Nobody knew where the hell I was.
Wow.
Yeah. And here's how I put hiking gear, modern hiking gear in perspective. Back then, there weren't even Ziploc bags. Think about
Correct.
a world without Ziploc bags. Yeah.
Everything was like cardboard, or not cardboard bags, but paper, right?
Yeah. And again, the gear, yeah.
So if everything would like freeze on the way up. So how did you have water? How did you have food? Like what the hell did you guys do for that when you did this stuff?
Okay, good question. My massage therapist in New York, I went to see her on the solstices and equinoxes 4 times a year. And she said, Ralph, you would make a good Martian. Because I used to do century bike rides without a water bottle. And so my physiology is set up for that. I don't have to drink gallons of water.
Survival.
Yeah.
Were you ever in the military? Like, is it
honorably discharged radio sergeant, 156 field artillery.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, some of you guys back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s were born to do this type of stuff. Like you said, like you didn't need water, you didn't need food. You went up to the top, you got back down. Sometimes these people would be from the military and they'd be like, yeah, in Vietnam, we didn't do shit. We went there, we did the mission, we came back, then we ate. And this was after 3 days.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Like I see these, like I said, I see these, my friends' pictures. They're like, oh, this was back in 1976. You know, the Friday slide, my friend, I don't know if you know him, Ralph Reindeck.
Yes. Oh my God. We were on a Peekamoose with him, Ralph. There were 3 Ralphs, him, my son, him, and I. Yeah. Lived 1,000 years ago.
Yeah. He's they call him the man of the Moonhaw. Because he lived down there and he explored it every day since he was a little kid. So
oh my God, he's still alive, right?
He's still climbing like excessively. Like this guy will be like, yeah, I did a little hike today across Table, Peekamoose, Lone, Rocky, Slide, Wittenberg, and Cornell. It was pretty good. I was like, what the hell? I'm like even thinking of doing like Friday and Balsam Caps. Sometimes my knee hurts just thinking about it.
Okay, I have a story about that.
Go right ahead, please.
But just quick, here's my suggestion to Ralph. Okay, I'm really impressed by what you're doing. But get a Harley.
Yeah, he doesn't have one of those yet.
Get a Harley. Anyway, here I am, young, 30-something stupid. So I decide to do Peekamoose, Table, Lone, Rocky, Friday, and Balsam Cap solo, and probably in the winter.
Probably.
Yeah, and so I end up on Friday and Balsam Cap, and I realize like it's getting dark, and here I am with nothing to eat, nothing to drink, wearing with a sweatshirt on, put a sweatshirt, wearing jeans, and Roy Maceros and Carl Zwingli showed up. It was a miracle. Coincidence? No, it wasn't a coincidence. They showed up and they said, Ralph, come back with us and we'll drive you back to your car. Ray Maceros and Carl Zwingli. I think he died recently. Yeah.
Wow. Where'd you find where were you at when you met up with them?
Probably on Balsam Cap.
Oh, wow.
But I think before we went down, I had a bag Friday. Yeah, but if I hadn't run into those guys, I was SOL. I mean, there I was. The car was, how many peaks were between me and the car?
I'm guessing you parked down at the Pecamos Valley area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wouldn't have done a through hike. You would have went to Friday and then all the way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. It is. But back in those days, and okay, here's another story. This was early on. I haven't thought about this in a while, but I decided to do, again, young and stupid. I decided to do Indian Head, Twin, Sugarloaf,
Yep.
and Plateau, and down to the road, and a straight shot. And it was winter, and naturally, and I had no cold weather gear. And here's what I thought. I said, once I get on top of Indian Head, it's going to be a ridge over all the way over Plateau and down to the car. Okay, once I dropped off of Indian Head into the call, and I saw Twin up there, and I kind of knew I was in trouble. Anyway, long story short, I ended up in Mink Hollow, heading up Plateau, and it's essentially getting dark. And my wife at the time was supposed to meet me over on whatever the name of the road is, 213.
214. Sorry,
214. And I was screwed. I was SOL. Getting dark. I had no overnight gear, and there were 2 Boy Scouts camp. Again, Providence. Wait a minute, I thinking about, I never thought of this before. I had a guardian angel in the Catskills, because I wouldn't be here talking to you today. 2 Boy Scouts had a campfire, a tent, and food, and I slept in a sleeping bag back to back with one of the Boy Scouts.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the next day got up and scooched up and across Plateau and down. I've never gone up Plateau from that end. And my wife was frantic, and the cops were just short of calling in helicopters looking for me. And I popped out of the woods. And yeah. But again, it's those that you remember. You don't remember being up on Windham High Peak and seeing the great view and Balsam Lake and the fire tower on a beautiful day. What sticks in your head is things like that.
Yeah, the struggles, the different things that you never thought would happen or something like that. Yeah, those stick in your head.
Okay, I have another Plateau story. Plateau has tried to kill me 3 times. Again, winter, solo. I'm bagging Plateau from Mink Hollow, Fuquay, and on the way down, there's some ice, and I fly off a ledge. And I go down, I don't know how far, off a ledge and tumble. And there I am. And a long story short, my then wife's sister was married to Rick Danko of the band, the bass player of the band.
Oh.
And Rick Danko rescued me.
What was it? Did you have any injuries from that?
No.
Nope.
Somehow, again, guardian angel. I could have been busted up pretty badly because I went down.
And these are the times where no SOS, no cell phones, no internet, stuff like that. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think, God, I think I got down to a road, a house, and called Elizabeth, and Rick Danko came up in his vehicle and rescued me.
Wow.
I have another Woodstock story. I just have to blurt this one out.
Go ahead.
After I was divorced, my first wife, she was Parisian, and she's still a French citizen. And so she moved to Woodstock with 2 kids. They just disappeared one day because they were tired of putting up with my stupidity and hiking and all that. And one day there's a knock on her door, and Mick Jagger is outside the door, and he says, "Is Danielle there?" The Rolling Stones were in Woodstock recording, and my daughter was 16 and a knockout, still is, and Mick Jagger knocked on the door. I have never ever asked her anything about anything that happened.
Right.
Her and Mick Jagger.
That's insane.
But that's name dropping. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I have stories, believe me.
Oh, that's what you're here for. That's why I wanted you on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's crazy is when I started out in hiking, this was only like 7 years ago, is I was
Wow.
fully prepared. Yeah. I was fully prepared for everything. I seriously had like a backup battery for my phone. I had extra water, extra food, shelter, stuff like that. What's crazy is what you're saying is back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you were just like, yeah, let's just go for a hike. And
30 below zero. Yeah.
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 And
yeah.
like, I don't, I still see some of these people to this day using the old like the Army Navy boots because they're heavy duty and they could pack a punch and they got grip and everything like that. But I started hiking in khakis and they froze up my first winter hikes and stuff. And I was just like, it didn't bother me though. And I of course I did like you, I did like t-shirts and stuff like that. Heavy coats and like crappy gloves, cotton gloves and stuff like that. And what? Yeah. The whole thing these days with the hikers is that cotton kills.
Yeah, cotton kills. Yeah.
And it's hilarious. Yeah. I do understand you're trying to get that word out to go to the polyester and stuff like that. But it did not kill you guys back in the 60s and 70s and on.
and just talking now, I haven't realized this until right now that I had a guardian angel. I mean, yeah, because the things I did, and I've related several instances where I was in really serious trouble in the wintertime. Yeah. And there's probably a few other stories I could tell you, but yeah. Okay, just quick. I went back.
Go right ahead.
And when I was learning the ropes, I said, I don't need no stinking compass. I don't need no stinking compass. So I take a bunch of people in the winter up, I think it was Cheryl. And so I'm the leader. I'm the leader. These are a bunch of Dudleys, and my life depends on them. There's a dozen people, and we're getting pretty high up. And somebody says, "Look at those tracks in the snow. There's another big group up here." We were circling the summit.
Oh,
yeah. And after that, compass.
Nice.
Compass. Yeah, because I thought again, I don't need no stinking compass. Yeah.
Yeah. Follow the ridge up and then you'll come right to the canisters. There's a hopeful idea.
Yeah.
But then once you get on that flat area, you're like, oh, let me circle around here. And like you said, you're following your own tracks.
Yep.
You see, and this is what's crazy. Like I said, I see pictures, I hear of these stories and I'm just like, and the crazy thing is more people have died in this day and age hiking than they did back in the 60s and 70s with the resources very, very limited. But yeah, I would also say that you guys were a lot stronger and a lot smarter to where you'll get yourself in a sticky situation and you would figure out a way to get out of that situation by yourself or from a friend or something like that.
There was invincibility mentality. Yeah, invincible.
It's crazy. It really is to think about that. So like when you did the 3,500, number 122 is awesome and stuff. And the winter 34. What was your do you have a memorable moment that you can like just the most favorite moment in the Catskills of doing the 3,500?
And Kathy and I, what she did is she sat down at the breakfast table and she took these notes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And again, this made me think about it. And one of the things she asked me just this morning is back then, maybe she put it as a statement, but because she knows her mountain. She said there weren't a heck of a lot of people out there then further.
No.
Yeah. Right now, I think there's at any given day, there's 1,000 people on the summit of Slide. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there was hardly anybody out there. There was hardly anybody out there.
No herd paths.
No herd paths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
trails
no.
weren't even marked and stuff like that. Like some of your trails, like Eagle and stuff like that. I don't think at that time in the late 60s and 70s, stuff like that was like well marked. They were poorly marked.
Okay, Eagle story. When I did the peaks the second and third time with Kathy and my son Ralph, and what I did is I filled out the sheet, and it says favorite peak, least favorite peak, and all that, and I sent it in to Cy Whitney, and I put Eagle as my favorite peak because I was
Hell
probably
yes.
the only person ever to do that. And then it said least favorite peak. I said I love them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eagle is my favorite. Walking that in the summertime is absolutely stunning. I think it's secluded. The ferns and the trails are absolutely astonishing. It blows my mind. It's a little bit easier, of course, but it's longer. And the trees, the trees are old deciduous, like trees that are just phenomenal. So welcome to the club. It's number 1 and 2 of the I Love Eagle Club.
Okay, Vic, a quick question. Is there a cairn marking the true actual summit of Eagle, which is inches higher than every place else on that beach?
I know there is a cairn right next to the canister. They have a canister on there now.
They do?
Yep.
No kidding.
They have a canister on there and Catskill High Peak.
No kidding.
This was within the last, I think, 3-4 years.
There's a canister on Eagle. I'm going to have to tell my son that, because we anytime my son and I and Kath to some degree, we always had to find the highest point.
Yeah, of course.
And we walk all over Eagle, trying to find that point that's just a little bit higher, and probably on the Catskill High Peak too, and a few others. Yeah. And here's something about Hunter. I mean, you just assume there's that fire tower. You walk over, you're drawn to it. Here's the base of the fire tower. That's the highest point. Well, pardon my French, but I won't say it. No, I won't say bullshit. But there's a place behind the fire tower. And the last Catskill Peak I've ever been on was Hunter. We went up the Colonel's Chair, and we got up and we walked over to Hunter. So I bagged a 4,000 footer, but while I was up there, I walked right along the edge of the woods and looked to see if I could find a higher point in those woods behind the fire tower.
Yep.
And I did.
Is that like, I thought the top part was the glacial erratic that's on the top is the highest point.
There's a rock up there, right?
Yep.
And I have a picture, I have a photograph of my foot on that rock right by the highest point.
Nice.
Yeah, I know the rock. Yeah.
What did you finish on? What was your finisher for the 3,500 Club? Do you remember?
That's a good question. Let me see if I have it.
Written in the huge notes.
April 1st, 1972. And actually, for the canister, Eleanor Levitt asked me to draw the Rips profile that you see from the Hudson Valley. And that was on the canister masthead in 1976. I drew that drawing on the canister. No, I do not remember my final peak. I think what it might be. What's a remote peak? Because in the 46 I finished on appropriately named. I think it's Lone. Yeah. And it's a long bushwhack in a valley, and then
Yeah, Lone and Rocky are the most remote, and then you got like Big Indian and Fur, and all those. I mean, I finished on Rocky. I finished in the middle of Rocky, but other ones, you said you've already done Friday and Balsam Cap. Bear Pen and Fly, were they 3,500s at the time?
Bear Pen and Fly, yeah. Yeah, and that's another one that's always spooked me, because when you come up on Bear Pen, you go up that 45-degree angle road, you just slog away, and then finally you walk and you come out in the ski area, and you just walk out there and say, "This is it. This is this is the summit. But over there's a couple of other bumps. And I've always wondered if any of those were higher, but I've never had the chutzpah to walk over and confirm that. Yeah.
So you were around in that era of when the ski center was just being closed down, right?
Yeah.
They still had the runs and everything there cut down. Wow, that must have been cool.
Oh my God. Yeah. There were ski runs. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chat with a guy who knew a lot about the Bear Pen Hole Princeton Ski Bowl story, and it just fascinates me how that was on the verge of becoming one of the best ski centers in the East Coast. So
Get out of here. What happened? 'Cause I'm a former downhill skier. Yeah.
yeah, he so I actually tried to get a hold of the owner, Ben Lance, I believe. He was making it and all like he was a big longtime skier at Adirondack Ski Club or the East Coast Ski Club. And he had the view of Bear Pen being incredible because for some reason the snow and the weather would just be attracted to Bear Pen. There must have been some way with the mountains.
Northern exposure too, and the Northern Catskills. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So he saw it. He bought a lot of the spots, build the runs and stuff like that. But there was another guy located in Prattsville. He was the owner of right on the edge of Bear Pen, and he knew also the surveyor of Prattsville. So those two got together and he resurveyed the maps. And then he told Ben that he was building on Ben Lane. That's his name, Ben Lane, that he was building on his property and he has to shut down all the operations.
Oh,
so that went into like a 6-year legal battle. And
oh my God.
Of course, everybody in a small town is laced together.
Yeah.
So, the judge and stuff like that and the surveyor. And so he never got to build his dream place. And it was phenomenal. Like the way it was supposed to come out was supposed to be better than Killington, better than anything of Vermont Gore, stuff like that. So it was a tragic story.
Oh my God. The good old boys stuck it to him.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And and everybody, like the crazy thing is a lot of Bear Pen was associated to the ski centers today. Like, what are the guys that own the Hunters, the Slutsigs or something like that? They start with S's. They used to.
Yeah.
They were part of Bear Pen's like ski run creators.
Wow.
So they went and bought Hunter, and they did their stuff at Hunter. So it's all connected. It's all cool story. I'll have to send you a link of the guy who did it. His name is Ralph LaChapelle. He's really good.
We had a saying in our family. My dad was Ralph. I'm Ralph. My son is Ralph the third. And it's always good weather when Ralphs are together. And we had a whole bunch of 3 Ralph Specters. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you talked about the Appalachian Trail before. You're number 311 on the Appalachian Trail. 311. You kidding me?
1 out of about 14,000.
Yeah, right now. Wow. Did you do that all in one take, or was that sections?
Good question. I did it between 1971 and 1975, and I finished on July 19th, 1975, which was Edgar Degas' birthday, about his 137th birthday or something like that, on Katahdin. Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't find out I was number 311. Again, the Catskills got this number thing going with me. I mean, that's yeah. I actually know what number 114er I am, but it's written down somewhere. Yeah.
How was your experience on the AT, during those early days?
Yeah. And what I did, I had highway maps, and the AT is on a lot of highway maps. And what I did is I'd go out and bust my ass for a whole weekend. And then I'd put an inch of magic marker on the highway map. And I kept linking these together until they were all hooked up. And and then went up Haddon. Yeah.
When did you finish the AT?
July 19th, 1975. That's 25 plus 22, 47 years ago.
Wow. So I pulled this up on my cell phone. Once again, technology is amazing. In that year, in the 1970s, 793 people completed that. And now in 2000, well, in the 2010s, I guess they haven't come up to the 2020s yet. 9,946.
Something like 13,000 or 15,000. Yeah.
Wow.
And again, it's a number to be proud of. And again, the changes. And here's another stat. I carried a 5-pound Nikon Nikkormat FTN camera with a zoom lens on the AT, and weight is important. And I'm carrying, and so I took slides, and after I finished the trail, I ended up showing my slides. It was called Summertime Dream to over 10,000 people. That's probably why I'm such a gabber now. But I stood in front of 10,000 people who had the dream of walking the trail, and I let them know what it's like to experience that dream. And the most frequently asked question was, back then, would you ever do it again? And my standard answer, only at gunpoint. Basically, it's a ball buster. I mean, it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. And yeah.
I've heard the trails. I mean, I've been on, I wouldn't say most of the AT, but I've been on different sections of the AT, Virginia stuff. The one of the most important points is, people have done the CDT, the Continental Divide, the Pacific Crest Trail. Those things are like highways. They're just rock. When you come over to the AT, rock, roots, mud, big rocks, crap, straight up approaches. A lot of people don't realize that the AT is absolute crap. The routes aren't fun. You have to, with all the West Coast stuff, you can just fly on the trails. You can fly 20 miles a day. Some parts of the AT, you have to focus on where you're going to step next, or that route's going to break your leg.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And okay. I've been putting together a book on the AT, but there's about 40,000 books out there that's of the hero trip. I walk the AT. Yeah. And it's the same old crap. I mean, you walk 20 miles, you say, and the next one, blah, blah. And so the name of my book is The Mud, the Bugs, and the Lying Guidebooks. Yeah.
That's the bugs, and what?
The Mud, the Bugs, and the Lying Guidebooks. ATC isn't going to really like that, but that's the truth. Mud, bugs, and lying guidebooks. Yeah, because again, the people. Oh my God, I could probably talk until it gets dark. Kathy, we sort of try to have some goals, and she said, "Let's walk the whole AT in Maryland." I said, "Okay." So I got the guidebooks, I got the maps, and so we went to Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, at a nice motel, and I figured I could walk because the motel is right where the bridge that the AT crosses into West Virginia is, and I recall you could just drop down and follow the trail to where it goes along the C&O Canal and blah blah blah, and we ended up bushwhacking down the slope about like that and almost killing ourselves. And there weren't any blazes. It turned out that the good old ATC had rerouted the trail just over here from our hotel and took it over through town and down. And I didn't find a blaze until we could see the Shenandoah and the Potomac. So by that time, it was a hot day and kind of beat. And anyway, long story short, we spent 3 days on the AT, and I hated it. I hated it. As a writer, I wrote about it, and I wrote the end of the AT dream. I've been living this number 311, and trail name Elvis Trailsley.
Elvis Trailsley. I'm not. My sister was an Elvis Presley fan. I wasn't, but it's alliterative, and it's a name that sticks to people's minds. Elvis Trailsley. And actually, there's a shelter on the trail named after me, Ralph Peacocker's cabin. Yeah. So I've been living this dream.
And in those 3 days in Maryland beat the living crap out of me, because my memory of when I walked on that trail as a 30-year-old was the soda machines. All the state parks had soda machines, so you didn't have to carry a lot of fluid. You just had quarters and you had something to drink. And instead, the rocks were atrocious. I have photographs. I could not, half a mile of nothing but rocks. You have to put your foot down each time, place it, and tripping and stumbling and all that. And anyway, that's yeah.
So what kind of packs did you like? What was the size of your pack when you did the Appalachian Trail? Like this is like I said, the internet helps you so much. So I'm guessing the Appalachian Trail in that time was done by people who were dedicated to the mountains and dedicated to hiking. Nowadays, it's just kind of like a fad. Like, yeah, I'll just do it because I want to be cool, or I like it, or I'm.
Oh yeah, I'd have a selfie of yourself. Yeah. I could add them. Yeah, but God, I had a big frame, Kelty frame pack, and no, I couldn't. They were so heavy that you couldn't just pick them up and put them on. You had to prop the pack up on the ground, sit down, get in it, and then stagger up.
Yeah.
And the figure that comes to my mind is it couldn't be 75 pounds. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because the lightweight gear didn't exist, and if it did, it costs a fortune. I carried a 20 below zero sleeping bag, 20 below zero on the AT in the summer. It's the only sleeping bag I had.
Yeah.
Carried a 5-pound camera, and the tents. Oh my God, yeah. But as the years went by, I went lighter. But here's okay. As a writer and as a thinker, okay, people are out there now with 20 pounds, 25-pound packs.
Yep.
And but you just picture you wake up tomorrow morning, you wake up 25 pounds heavier. You're going to feel it.
Yeah.
You're going to feel it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what, I started off with very heavy packs. So like I can rock, 30, 40, 50 pounds, because also I'm in search and rescue. So we already have to do that crap anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like these people with these 25-pound packs, and these shelters, I'm just like, good for you. But what happens after those 2 days of the 25 pounds, and you're screwed, that's what happens. And like, I can't believe 75 pounds. Wow.
Yeah. It's, again, back in the day, 10 straight days of rain sometimes. 10 straight days, and everything and every part of your body is wet. And one way I put it, I carried a tent anytime I was out on the AT, and it saved my life 3 times, including up on the Presidential Range Ridge once. Saved my life. And so we ran into some young people on the AT and they said, we sleep in garbage bags. Duh. All right. But, yeah. Case closed. You're stupid.
Yeah. How was your experience back in those days going up the Whites? Because those are weather crazy areas.
Oh, baby. Yeah. I again, the first time through, okay, get out of here. I haven't thought about this in a long time. I hiked with Bobby Bristow, Don Hunger, and Peter R. Hornby. Peter R. Horn from Mankato, Minnesota. And so Bobby was 16 years old, and he smoked, and he was a pain in the ass. He was a whiner, and he called himself the Happy Hiker. But and he ended up being a professor at a college up in Massachusetts, and I've been trying to get in touch with him. Anyway, back to what you're saying, Dr. Don and I walked up Lafayette, knocking off sections of the trail, and that kicked our ass. And we were coming off of having walked the whole South and all the way up to Lafayette. And we were used to 15, 18-mile days, 12, 15, 18, 20 miles a day. What they did to me is they were mind rot. You had you had the physical strength, but you ran out of things to think about. And I used to hate the 20-mile days. And anyway, Don and I ended up doing like 5-mile days in Lafayette, Lincoln, and all that. Kinsman's, yeah.
Nice.
It was a wake-up call for us. We thought we were invincible, but we weren't.
Now you was that you said something about you mentioned before about a 9-day hike on the AT. Was that with those guys? With Jim, Pete, Charlie, and Don.
Okay, in 1978 or so, I started teaching backpacking courses and in adult education, and I loved it. And again got to the graduation hike was on the AT from Route 22 into the Telephone Pioneer Shelter. It was a pretty rugged hike, and so that got me back out on the trail. And between those, classes, we walked from mid New Hampshire to mid Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Pete, Jim, Charlie, and Don were class members, and I changed their lives because Pete ended up climbing 7 or 8 meter peaks down in South America, Iamani and things like that. Jim became a marathoner. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm still Pete finished the trail. He was the only one out of the whole group of Ralph's peak hikers who finished the AT. Kath and I finished with Mike Dodd.
Wow.
Yeah.
So going through like New Hampshire all the way down to Pennsylvania, you're almost like halfway done with it, right?
Yeah, we did a big chunk of the trail, but then people started to get Harley Davidsons. I don't know. Jim became a runner, and they just left the show. Yeah, but it changed people's lives. Pete and I are still in touch. We get together about once a week and just talk to Jim Haggett, and yeah.
So
it changed their lives.
Yeah. So you've definitely had some crazy times in the Catskills. Any hike, any crazy hike that pop out in your head instantly?
Okay. I have to blurt this out. I taught a lot of different classes, and I finally come up with a class called Backpacking for Barmaids. I was single at the time.
Is that a new one? That's going to be a new book.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't really right now. This is weird, but Kath and I probably would have a tough time in the Catskills. Yeah, we in my latest book, my third book, I have a list of things I don't do anymore, like skydive, race motorcycles, blah blah blah, and I have to. I'm going to blurt this out. I don't like walking anymore. Hey, Mr. 311 AT 4,000 miler. I don't like walking, for example, across a Walmart parking lot. I don't like to walk on blacktop. In the woods, I'm fine, but I don't like to walk on hard surfaces. And so kind of what I'm getting around to right now, if I go back to the Catskills, I would do Window High Peak or Balsam Lake because they're easy.
Yep.
Easy.
Yeah. And I suggest, when was the last time you were back in the Catskills?
We took the Colonel's share and bagged Hunter. Yeah.
Do you remember what day that was? Like,
I remember the motel was expensive and not pleasant. It was in Hunter. Yeah. No,
interesting.
I could look it up because what I've done is recently. Okay, this is how I helped me become a writer, semi-famous writer with over 500,000 words in print. Is my AT journals.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and writing down all the awful things that happened every day. Because I go back to those journals, and they aren't zippity doo dah. Oh, baby, they're mud, bugs, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, no water, da da da, yeah.
Yeah, you should see the stuff that's changed here in the Catskills. Like the herd paths are
Mhm.
dominant as heck. You could easily go up. Friday and Balsam Cap are a breeze now because you don't have to navigate anything. There's herd paths everywhere. Trying to think of what else would have herd paths. That is North Dome and Sherrill are pretty decent bushwhacks.
Mhm.
What else? Catskill High Peak is easy as heck.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like 7 years ago when I started this, there wasn't any herd paths. There was barely any herd paths. Like going up Hockett, you remember Hockett is
Yeah.
steep as heck, but the herd path is like a highway right now. So I mean the differences
Oh.
between then and now, they're starting actually to think that they should build trails on those trailless peaks, or at least have something like at the Adirondacks did, of where they have the maintained herd paths. So it's
Yes.
crazy.
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, when we climbed the Friday and Balsam Cap, we knocked on Joe Friedel's door, and we said, Joe, we're going to climb, and he said, let me know when you're back. So we knew the Friedel family.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got in touch with him when I was second vice president, because we were going to put private property signs around his area, because there was, like I said, it's the stupid internet. People would go to his hut and take pictures there and stuff like that. They wouldn't respect the private property.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what did he call that? The hut in the cloud, or case in the clouds, or something like that. House in the clouds. He was a cool guy. I really liked him.
Yeah. And again, we knew him, and also the guy when you did Sherrill and North Dome, there was a farm, and we used to knock on the door, and tell him we were going to climb, and if we get back, and he'd give us drinks and all that. Yeah. I never knew his name. I might have known his name, but we'd call it the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
So what's your being in the Catskills, being number 122, what was your favorite hike in the Catskills that you could remember? It's a tough one, right? They're all good.
I think I think Friday and Balsam Cap, because they kick your ass.
Yeah, they do.
Going up Friday, if you took the bearing, and once I took a bearing, I stuck with it, irregardless. That's my favorite non-word, irregardless.
Mhm.
We took the bearing, and I stayed on the bearing, and we would pop out. There was the canister right there. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But they were the guys that wore the black hats. They were the tough guys.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my, Friday is one of my favorite hikes as well. I worship Friday just because, number one, it has a phenomenal view, and number two, it is definitely a ball buster. It definitely is.
And I have to tell you this: it used to be a ball buster to get from Friday to Balsam Cap. You had to go through the cripple bush, fight your way through. You had to get sideways and fight your way. Now I bet there's an interstate.
A lot of people don't. I'm guessing you went from the top of Friday to Balsam Cap along that little flat ridge, right? That kind of bowls around it. So a lot of people go back down to what they call the rim trail, which is the herd path, and then go up to Balsam Cap. So they climb Friday, they climb back down Friday, and then go over to Balsam Cap.
No way.
It's a super highway. So me and my wife is knocking off the 3,500 as well. So we went and did Friday, and I'm just like, we're going to go a different way to Balsam Cap. We're going to go just the flat way, the easy way. But it's also going to be a little bit crappy because you got to go through the trees and you got to break branches. You got to get caught on things. And she was just like, so this is what it's like. I'm like, this is what it's like. But you're lucky because there's you haven't gone between Balsam Cap and Rocky. You haven't gone between Cornell and the Dink. I'm just like, you don't have stuff smacking your face. And but she thought it was pretty neat. But a lot of people, like I said, these places have become like super highways. Rusk for example, Rusk. I did Rusk was my first bushwhacked 7 years ago, and there was no herd path. There's very little tiny herd path. Now it's one of the easiest mountains to do because it's so short. Everybody does it. It's so short, and there's a trail. There's a herd path going up. So once again, it's crazy.
I have a Rusk story, and this is a good story, and it's an upbeat story. Kath did Rusk solo. It probably was the winter, and I used to worry about her. She would do solo climbs, and she did Rusk solo, and she met a bunch of guys in the parking lot, and found out they were going Rusk, and she was doing Rusk, so she took the bearing. And what they did is they went up the trail and they scooched around and then came over from the side, and they were shocked she was up there
before them, or
she was up there before them at the canister.
Well, they went up to East Rusk and then headed over to Rusk, right?
Yeah. And so this bunch of guys, again, the testosterone, manly guys, and a woman, beat them. And I wrote about it in the book. This isn't a race.
Nice.
This is a race, and I wrote about that. Yeah, and okay, another story. Kath and I raced whitewater canoes. We raced in New England in class 1 and 2 whitewater. We've actually run class 3 whitewater in Zor Gap, and we raced canoes, twin tandem canoes, in what was a master's class, over 30 or something like that. And we were the best in the rapids. We were the best.
Nice.
And but we get on flat water, and the guys, through brute strength, would overtake us. And as soon as they saw a woman passing them, they went apeshit, and they dug in. And and we took lessons from world champions, national champions.
Nice.
What's their names? And they showed us how to paddle. The whole thing is efficiently. And so we'd pass those guys. Those guys would come up and try to pass us back. And it takes a while, and we just pull away from them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So before we wind anything up, you got anything else you want to chat to about these Catskill hikers and Catskill people that are listening? Buy the book, right? Buy the book. I got it written down. You got to send me links to everything.
Written in 2006.
Ooh, nice.
I got to read you on the back cover. And okay, Catskill Tales and Trails. I've had a love affair for nearly 40 years. When my wife found out about it, she encouraged me to continue it, and then she joined me. I love the Catskills.
Hell yes. Love it. That is going in the show notes. Send me links to everything you have written. And before we go, you remember, I don't know when was the last time you visited the Catskills. You got any place to suggest to get something to eat or something to drink in the Catskills? I like to include local businesses in here.
Oh, we used to stop in Phoenicia at the pizza place.
Brios?
What's the name of it?
Brios?
Yeah.
That's like the 12th straight time someone has mentioned Brios. That's a place. That place is everybody's place.
And one thing I wanted to go right up front was this all happened over half a century ago. So I really had to look where I ended up in the wrong valley because of the dogleg was Bear Pen. I had to look things like that up. And you made me think back. Kathy, Ralph, and I used to we used to stop after a hike for pizza. That became like a tradition. Yeah, and there was a fancy place out further out. It was like a New York kind of place. It was kind of fancy. And when I did the bushwhack of Thomas Cole, there's a woman who bushwhacked Trailed Peaks. Mm-hmm. And we stopped there, and I could look it up quick.
Yeah.
Bushwhack Thomas Cole. Get out of here.
I know, right? Where did you bushwhack from? Colgate Lake?
From the other side. Yeah.
From
From the others, the south side.
That's actually an pretty nice, easy, gentle hike going up there. I remember doing that. I've done that before.
Okay, it's page 10. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay, here's page 10. A winter bushwhack. You got to be kidding. Her name was Donna Beth Stewart. You know her?
Negative.
Donna Beth Stewart. And like, why? Okay, and there was only 3 of us, and we ended up Loretta Charles on Route 28. Might not still be there.
I haven't heard of it, so
yeah.
I'll
Again,
check it.
we're talking. This was 06 when I wrote that. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I wrote both of those down, so excellent. I like to suggest local businesses and some places to eat, because after a hike, you want to eat as much as you can. I'll take 2 or 3 burgers and 2 orders of mozzarella sticks and rum and Coke after a hike. Usually, it's
Okay. I one more thing I have to. I tell the AT through hikers. We used to live 400 steps from the AT, and what I tell them was, and this goes back to the Catskills too. Basically, a hiking trail is a dirt path. It's a dirt path in the woods. It's a freaking dirt path. And because of those dirt paths, my wife and I have been to 65 countries. We have seen Everest, Lhotse, Nuptse, and Ama Dablam by moonlight from a Sherpa tea house.
wow.
All because of those dirt paths. The sense of adventure of walking on those dirt paths got us to Everest by moonlight.
Hooked. Got you hooked. And all
Yeah.
thanks to, and basically thanks to the Catskills, right?
Yeah, because
Wow.
it goes back to those dirt paths.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Once again, Ralph, thanks for being on the show. This I think we're good with the talking and the stories. Maybe if you could think of some more, I'll have you back on again. Definitely. Write down some stories, and I guarantee people would love to listen, especially people, me that are 40 years old and love to hear these stories. I can listen to these stories all day.
Oh my God, 40.
Yeah.
Okay, I just one more quick thing. My latest book, it was 6 years in the writing, 86,000 words, and 3 years in the printing, and was published in September. And I have read people who have sold 98,000 books. I have sold 3. So
3.
on my tombstone, it's going to say, he wrote books that nobody read.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll turn some heads. They'll be like, what?
Yeah. And get out of here. One more quick story on the back cover. The author, it says, Ralph and Kathy currently reside on Maryland's eastern shore with their rescue rhinoceros, Dora. Everybody here has a rescue dog. We have a rescue rhinoceros.
Interesting.
She likes to be called Penelope.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Well,
Sash,
excellent.
What day is it?
I think to be honest, I think it's Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday.
Yeah. This. Thanks for bringing me back and listening.
Oh, dude, I will do this as many times as you want. And I guarantee the people that listen to the show, if I have any people listen to the show, I'm like you, like there may be probably like 3 or 4 people that listen to the show. So, but I thank you so much for joining me, Ralph. I'd also like to thank, wow, I didn't do this. I should have done this before. I thank Yana for mentioning you. Yana mentioned you. So Yana, hopefully Yana's listening. I know this is pretty long into this, but thank you for suggesting Ralph, because wow, this has been mind blowing. So once again, thanks, Ralph.
Yana has done wonderful with the canister. What she's done with the canister
Yeah.
is, I can't come up with words.
Yep,
Yep.
she has rocked it, and I'm so glad we're friends and she has suggested this because it's insane. I love it. So thanks for being on the show, Ralph. Have a good day. Enjoy the weather down there. It looks good. Up here, it's a little gloomy.
Yep. I'm going to go for a bike ride. I got to get to 1,600 miles.
Heck yeah. Well, have a good night, and hopefully we'll talk later.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe and throw down a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any podcast platform that you use. You can also check out daily updates of the podcast and my hikes, and also memes on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the official website of the show. This isn't a goodbye. This is a see you later. Hopefully.